Hey, horror people, what's going on? Welcome to Death by Podcast, the world's greatest horror movie podcast and beyond. I'm your host, Adam. Your other host, Kevin, isn't here today because I'm editing together a special Svengoolie episode. You heard that correctly. This past Friday, Kevin and I were privileged and welcomed at Oh Yeah Comics in beautiful downtown Skokie for not only the Svengoolie signing for his new comic book, but afterwards, manager and my brother of the store, he's the manager of the store, and he's my brother, so he's not my brother of the store, whatever that means, asked us to do a live recording podcast at the shop after the Svengoolie signing. So, if you tuned in to hear a Svengoolie talking, that's not what you're going to get. I don't want to be misleading. However, we are going to talk about Svengoolie and our experience throughout the day, which was absolutely amazing. We're also going to talk about comic books, horror movies, the whole deal. So this is a special kind of episode. The volume's up and down, in and out, but it's all there and you can hear it pretty clear because we're passing around a phone. Why are we passing around a phone to record a podcast? Because I forgot my computer. I remember to bring everything, the podcast mics, all the cords, all the special snacks that we have, but I forgot to include my computer in the madness of packing up for the day. But I think you'll still be able to enjoy it. We had some awesome guests, and I'm going to introduce each one with each segment. But I'll run down the list real quick just so you know what to expect. Friend of the show, friend of the shop, Brian Lynch. Friend of the show, friend of the shop, Charlie Gushi. Then we had famous cartoonist and one of the owners of Oh Yeah Comics and one of the artists on the new Svengoolie book, Art Baltazar, and his daughter Audrey joined us. Then we had a sort of round rectangle group session with Anthony Laatsch and Chris O'Connell, myself, and Kevin. And then we finished off the podcast with my brother, Joe Crohn, who put the whole thing together and did a damn fine job. If I can say that. Of course I can say that. It's my fucking podcast. He just did an awesome job with the Svengoolie signing, and we talked to him about that. We talked about horror comics and what he likes to keep the shop stocked with, and horror movies and the whole bit. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, and we're going to do a podcast here. We're going to lead it off with Brian Lynch. I'm sure you've heard of Brian and his Herald's Hot Wing of Justice. You can find him on Instagram under that same moniker. Let's hear what Brian has to say for himself. Are you Brian Lynch or are you not? All right, guys, I'm sitting here with Brian Lynch, one of the backbones of Oh Yeah Comics. That's not true?
I wouldn't have thought about that.
You were big time today helping out with our special guest that we had. You want to tell me about that guy?
Art Baltazar. Oh, no, Svengoolie. Svengoolie. Loved it. I mean, the vibe here was just phenomenal. Svengoolie was awesome. I mean, the interaction that it looked like he was having with everybody. Everybody got what they wanted, got the pictures from them, got their autographs. Man, huge shout out to Oh Yeah. Adam, Joe, the whole crew here. Phenomenal.
I really appreciate that. I'm sure Joe does as well. I'm going to talk with him later. What's your history with Svengoolie? I'm curious about that. Because I think everybody has like a different era or stage that they came into him.
I knew him when he was son of Svengoolie. Yeah, so you're talking. Chicago area, Brickyard Mall, 1970, 1980 something. Yeah. And my dad takes me and my brother to go meet Captain America and son of Svengoolie.
Nice.
What a great time.
So he had his green.
I honestly don't remember. Okay. I remember because I still have the autograph somewhere. I wish I could find it because it'd be cool to just kind of post it up there. But I remember, hi Brian, son of Svengoolie. So even back then, the personalization, making you feel part of the whole thing, which is neat.
That's awesome. Where was that again?
The Brickyard Mall in Chicago, Illinois. Now they've since gotten rid of a lot of the malls. The premise is still there. There's still a shopping center there, but it's not a mall. When I was there, they had a mall. They had Kmart there. They had the open areas, the food courts. Boy, I'm dating myself.
That's awesome. No, that's the best is being able to experience something like Svengoolie for the first time in a place that, even if it doesn't exist, the memory is attached there.
For sure. No, for sure. And then consequently, years and years of watching him on TV, having my kids meet him and everything. And so, and every time he's been such a pleasure. I love watching the show. I will admit sometimes I fast forward past some of the movie just to get to his bits. And I love that he, and anyone who watches Svengoolie knows that he tells you where these actors and actresses are always from. And now you can just Google it. But he does it with such just accuracy, such passion and everything. And then his jokes and the chickens and just everything. It's phenomenal.
That's awesome. Now, in a broader sense, with horror, are you or are you not a horror fan?
I like horror. I don't necessarily have to have slasher horror. I like those mystery horrors, those suspense horrors. And it's something where your mind is your worst enemy. And those jump scares are great. One that cut off the top of my head, Insidious. I thought that was a great, because it was jump scares, you weren't sure what was going on, and then for them to talk about the dream plane as opposed to just regular demons, I thought that was creative. Other movies that, I don't know if you'd really consider them horror, but I liked it, was The Others with Nicole Kidman and stuff, and that whole premise. The movie was slow, but the payoff was worth it, and it was just so phenomenal. So, like I said, I've seen the Freddy Kruegers, seen the Jasons, seen lots of, and I wouldn't even thought Gremlins as a horror movie. Sure. But now you're looking at
Gremlins is a Christmas movie, man.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. A Christmas movie. I must get it mixed up with another Gremlins or something.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's my favorite thing with, Kevin and I do a very adult-themed podcast just because it's like horror lends itself to sort of an R rating, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But being able to like jump in, take a break and jump into the community like we had going on at the store here today and hear like the different perspectives on horror, how people came to it, what they gravitate towards.
Right.
It's always different. I love that.
No, it's phenomenal. First of all, the store community was great, and then to bring Svengoolie in here, the master in the Chicago area, BERWYN, right, with his horror knowledge and everything else, and it's cool because I think that Joe, with the comic shop, has brought in, you've got your Marvel, you got your DC, you have your all ages books, and now he brings horror books into here, and I'm reading books that I might not have ever been introduced to if it wasn't for this place. And you don't have to love all of horror to get into it, but who doesn't like to be scared sometimes, and I think that's what's awesome about some of these movies. And like I said, some of these slashers, you want a slasher movie, cool. I don't necessarily need it. I like to be scared. I like those jump scares. I like those mysterious suspense movies and stuff, to a point where you're not bored with the killer chasing the kids at the campground or anything like that there. So all in good stuff.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for sitting. I know you got to split. I appreciate you being my first guinea pig on this. We're gonna talk to a few other folks in the crowd. Brian, I wish you the best.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate being a guest here. Awesome. Love what you guys do, and what an experience today. I mean,
it was crazy.
It was awesome. Svengoolie, everybody here. I don't want to say everybody because singling out. You know what I mean? Just everybody involved, from Svengoolie staff to the surprise guests to everybody that normally is here. Oh yeah, comics.
Dude. Death by
Podcast. Man, come on. I'm all about an but let's go Death by Podcast too.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, folks, that was fun. Brian is a good friend and someone who, without the day, would not have been as smooth as it was. So thank you, Brian. Next up, we're going to sit down and talk with Charlie Gushi, friend of the show, old friend of mine, big Star Wars guy, big Star Trek guy. You might even get a little bit of back and forth between him and Kevin. And a massive horror fan, someone who I text with every Friday night, watching Joe Bob and The Last Drive-In. So, Charlie, the phone is yours. You guys don't have to be quiet for us. We got a crowd here. We're at All Yeah Comics Skokie doing a live show. I'm sitting here with my co-host
Kevin,
and a host of other people. Nearest to me though is Charlie Gushi, a friend and a horror fan. Charlie,
yes,
you were here today for Svengoolie. I want to know what your experience was like.
It was awesome.
Thank you, Charlie. We'll see you later.
So I told Mom about this. My mom is a huge Svengoolie fan. She how long were you watching? Like from the beginning?
We're talking like 1971, 72, something like that.
So 79 when he first started?
I remember my sisters were in high school and I was in grade school, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because that's when, I don't know if you got to see the figure I made, but that was the costume that I did with the green, when he had green on his costume.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, and so of course when I was growing up as a little kid, we would watch Svengoolie at nights. So that's my experience, and I want to get back into watching. I just haven't gotten around yet. But
Is your Gramps a Svengoolie fan?
no,
Really? That's okay.
my grandpa isn't really a horror fan at all.
Yeah.
He's like,
Well, it's funny. Would you agree? You know, Svengoolie, yes, he's a horror host and he shows horror movies, but he also shows like really, it's a family show. I mean, it's rare. I think last week he showed Ghoulies, which was actually a horror movie. And this week, tomorrow night, he's got Ghoulies 2, which is like another like actual horror movie. Do you prefer that kind of stuff, or do you prefer when he does like the lighter fare?
honestly, I would go for whatever. I'm that type of person where I like all horror.
Yeah.
You know, I'm picky on certain things, but for the most part, any genre of horror I enjoy.
Kevin, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Charlie.
I like The Wizard of Oz.
The most scariest movie of all time.
Wizard of Oz. That's
I mean,
awesome.
Actually, if you kind of think about it, it could be really scary. But no, as I've said, it's like I have vague memories, you know, but like I've watched horror since I probably before I should have started watching horror.
Well, what was your intro to horror?
Oh, my intro to horror. Well, if we're discounting the Svengoolie, which is again very vague memories because we're talking 5-6 years old. Honestly, I have to say the first like real horror I got into was probably the Evil Dead series. I used to watch those on repeat when I was like 12, 13, 14 years old.
That's awesome. Now, something else earlier, I interrupted you and Kevin talking when you were talking about that Star Trek BS. What was the last thing that you remember saying to Charlie about Star Trek?
probably we were talking about new Star Trek. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure I was dismissive and shitty because I know about new Star Trek. I was like, yeah, maybe I'll watch it. It sounds, you know.
For those who listen to the show, and you're one of them, like, you know how much Kevin loves Star Trek. I don't know if you listened. What show was it that we just did? Night of the Comet.
Yep.
Where I like knew more about the Star Trek connections than Kevin did. Kevin, what do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, that's what happened.
No, it was
Chakotay was in that one.
Chakotay.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we actually got on that because I was saying because you guys were talking about how you're going to be watching for What'd You Watch,
Right.
Pontypool,
Yes.
and I was telling him, the main actor in it, Stephen McAdie,
I always forget his name. Did you watch it yet?
I didn't watch it yet.
All right.
but he plays in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I don't know which episode it is, but he plays Senator Vreenak.
You know who this
I
Vreenak
do now-
is?
Yeah, I do now because we talked about it. I didn't know him by name, but it is a very famous DS9 episode.
But you know the actor that we're talking about?
I know the. Yeah,
So he's the guy. He's in Pontypool. He's the lead, and he is phenomenal.
he's phenomenal.
Is
in
he?
that.
Is he? He is.
He's in one episode. He's awesome. It's probably the biggest meme from DS9, right?
Yeah,
Like that.
I'd have to say that is.
Yeah.
But that's not saying much. Like Star Trek memes, that's not really
Oh
saying
no,
much.
no, this meme it's a fake. I mean, come on, that is like the biggest DS9 meme of all memes. But I was just telling him because like I was also saying, you know, like they also made a spin-off of Pontypool, and they're actually making a
Seriously,
sequel.
they made a spin-off of
Yeah, it
Pontypool?
came out in 2019. I was looking it up, called Dreamland.
No way.
Yeah, there's Dreamland, and then they're going to be releasing, Pontypool Changes,
Which is what?
sequel to Pontypool,
That's crazy.
and it's coming out sometime this year, I think.
Pontypool's a really good movie. I really think you're gonna like it. I had no idea that they were doing a sequel.
No,
That's awesome.
I was like, when you guys talked about it, I was looking it up. I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to have to watch this before the
Yeah.
episode airs.
And you did.
I need to.
Oh, you haven't watched it. All right.
I haven't watched it
Make
yet.
sure you do. Absolutely.
I have to find it where it's streaming.
Charlie, is there anything else that you want to say, knowing that you may not get another chance to say something on our podcast for a while? What else do you want to say? Say hi to Ripley.
Hi to Ripley.
Charlie, thanks for being here. Mom, thanks for sitting for so long. Kevin, what do you have to say? Good. Thanks, Kevin. All right, we're going to get a bunch of other people up in here. And Charlie, thanks for sitting with us.
I'm glad to.
All right. Charlie is a good friend. And you know what? I want to give a special shout out to Charlie's mom, who made the trek, no pun intended, and gave us some awesome apple butter. Charlie's mom is amazing, and she's always a trooper when it comes to these big events that they come to. We appreciate you, Mama. And let's see. Next up, we've got the famous cartoonist. There's no other famous cartoonists in the world, in case you didn't know. This is the famous cartoonist, Art Baltazar, and his lovely daughter, Audrey. They're going to sit down and talk horror with us. Art is one of the owners of the shop. He's a great friend of mine, great friend of Joe's. He's also one of the artists, one of the 3 artists on the book that Svengoolie was there to sign. But I need to apologize ahead of time because Art pretty much just talks about Harold's chicken the entire time and how crispy it is. Art and Audrey, take it away. Folks, welcome back to Death by Podcast, the world's greatest podcast, period, or just horror podcast?
Ever. World's greatest ever.
I'm sitting here with my co-host,
Kevin.
and I'm Adam. You guys know that. And the world's most famous cartoonist's daughter,
Audrey.
and Art Baltazar.
Hello, how you doing? How are you?
So where are we, Art? Tell us where we are.
We're in beautiful downtown Skokie at All Your Comics comic book shop.
Why are we here today especially?
Today was an eventful event with Svengoolie from MeTV came to visit us and sign a bunch of comics, and he was awesome. We had him a guest, and we had a variant cover for a book, and man, it was a joyous occasion.
It was. Did it live up to? Did you have expectations?
I thought it was gonna be either 3 guys or like 100 guys out the door. I was worried it was gonna rain. I was worried that Svengoolie was gonna it's too late. Like, I don't know how he is. I don't know him in person, but man, he was cool. He walked in smiling. We had a line out the door.
Out the door and around.
Yeah, around the building, right? But the line was in the store. It horseshoed. Is that a horseshoe?
Yeah.
Is that a giant letter U, and went out the door?
Yeah.
And Svengoolie, man, when he came in and we all cheered, everyone celebrated, we clapped. He sat down, he laughed. All the photos we have with him is he actually has a genuine smile.
He does. I noticed that after all these years and all this stuff.
Yeah, I see him sign. He has the smile, but we had him laughing.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
That was great.
Yeah,
you now, Audrey, got to see this like from a different perspective. You were probably looking at all these people and being like, look at all these old dorks. You were like, what is happening here? What's your experience with Svengoolie? Have you ever watched the show?
No.
Cool, that's great. No.
I've seen him sometimes, like some clips of him from like the old Halloween movies.
Yeah.
But I never really watched them.
Yeah.
But
If you ever get the chance, and MeTV is like one that you can just grab out of the air on your TV.
Yeah.
Saturday nights MeTV. It's one of those experiences like where you're not necessarily watching for the movie, you're watching for him because he does like the in-betweens and the bits.
Yeah.
The bits.
And it's weird when hearing him talk sounds like Svengoolie from TV.
Yeah.
And even the other guy is like, man, when you guys talk, it sounds like you're doing a TV show. And he goes, what TV show? They're funny. Yeah. So Svengoolie's cool, man. He sounds like you think he would sound like.
Totally.
Yeah.
I wonder, it makes you wonder what he's like at home, like if he's always in character. Somebody asked you, was it Anthony asked you today, like if everybody at your house is just yelling Yagums around?
Yeah, my wife
comes
home.
It's probably the same
work.
thing for him.
She kicks the door open and goes, Yagums! And we all scatter.
It's probably the same thing for him. Like, is he married? I don't even know. Is he have kids?
He's got to have little Svengoolies.
Yeah.
Little spawns running around.
Oh, that's gonna be me.
I was expecting it. You know, like Donald Duck's kids all look like him.
Yeah,
Sailor
totally.
hats. That's what I thought.
None of them have pants. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like all got hats on. I thought that was gonna happen. He's gonna pull up and you're gonna see all these kids jump out with chickens and stuff. That would be good. Mrs. Goolie.
So Kevin has a question for you. Kevin, go. Okay. Did you have anything?
What'd you have for breakfast?
What'd you have for breakfast, Art?
I had a piece of Harold's chicken.
Did you really?
Yeah, I went like this. It was coffee, Harold's, soda, and then back to coffee.
Was this leftover Harold's, or did you go to
yesterday.
Harold's to
We
get
went
it?
yesterday. I told my guy, Gordy, I said, you hungry? Like, yeah. I just want to go get Harold's. He went, can we eat there? I'm like,
wow.
yes. So we went. Oh, man, it was delicious, crispy. When they give you the chicken from behind the counter and they hand it to you, and you only have to take off one layer of paper and it's still crispy, and that fresh steam hits your nose. Oh, man, my mouth's watering now. And then on the way out, I said, we need strips and gizzards. Gizzards. And I bought Audrey some strips. But she normally like a 3 or 4 strip dinner, but I got 20, so I brought them 20. So I had a whole bunch of leftovers. So that's what I had today.
You ordered 20 for yourself plus Audrey's, or 20 total?
20 to bring home.
Dude!
Community strips, man. You should have been there. It would have been good.
Next
Maybe
time.
I'll bring it. You working Tuesday? Oh,
Tuesday.
I'm flying out Tuesday.
Oh,
man.
Next Tuesday after that.
Next Tuesday.
Just put it in your refrigerator and leave it there.
Yeah, I'll bring it there. I'll bring it from, we could like hang out at all your comics.
Yeah.
Eat chicken wings.
Man. All right. So what's your what
Harold's.
What's Audrey? This is the I almost said the owner, the manager of all your comics.
Here's a new segment called Cartoonist to Cartoonist. Where the two cartoonists at the table are going to talk about this cover and the comic book that we had an event for today.
Which is what comic book is that?
Svengoolie, Lost in Time, published by Frank Miller Presents Comics. What's featuring Svengoolie and our variant cover featuring Action Cat, and they're fist bumping on the cover, and it's only available at beautiful downtown Skokie. Oh yeah, comics. Probably soon at New York store, maybe Muncie, but right now.
I can't believe they don't have any. Kevin, what do you see?
It looks awesome, man. It's a great cover.
That's what you see. Looks awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that.
See the fist bump.
Yeah.
I'll post pictures of what we're looking at on our Instagram and Patreon. But what we're looking at is the cover, and the initial run of the cover had this drip, this Svengoolie bloody drip, covering Action Cat's face, right?
It was like scratch him in the eye. Yeah.
That was so silly.
They're ready to go with it. I said, wait, slow down, homeboys. I said, you got to move that drip around, covering up my guy's face. But it looks good. I worked with the graphic designer on this cover, layouts and logos and things.
Yeah.
Came out pretty good.
Next time you need a graphic designer, maybe you should look in-house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a graphical.
Yeah, maybe.
Keep it graphical.
Audrey, do you even like horror movies?
I do like horror movies.
What's your favorite? I think you mentioned one earlier.
My favorite horror movie is It.
The new one or the old one?
The new one.
Why?
Because...
It's because of that guy with the googly eyes, right?
Because Finn Wolfhard is in it.
Wait, he is?
And
Finn
Wolfhard and who else? That other guy that plays the
Jimmy
one
John?
guy that's best friends with Richie.
Yeah.
Eddie and Richie.
Yeah.
Whoever plays Eddie, I like that guy.
That's cool.
And I think the kids are really funny. They're hilarious.
Richie, the new guy.
That's pretty awesome. Because everybody comes into horror at a different point.
Yeah.
But the guy who plays it, the guy,
Bill Skarsgård.
What's his name?
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård. Who's his brothers or dad?
Stefan Skarsgård and who's the other guy?
Julian?
Rebecca.
No. It's
Samuel.
Natalie.
No, his brother's on Succession and True Blood and a bunch of other stuff.
Yagam Skarsgård. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. What do you think about him? What's your take on that guy?
I think he has a really good creepy smile.
You heard it here first, folks.
And also dreamy.
Yeah, and also
I
dreamy.
don't
Yeah.
think the clown is dreamy.
No, the clown's not dreamy.
All right, what's your take on horror movies, just in general?
I like 2 of them. I like Halloween.
The original?
Yeah, and Jaws.
Jaws.
That's all I need.
Kevin's a huge Jaws.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Jaws too.
Halloween's
but
the
Kevin's
scariest
huge.
movie you'll ever see in your life, especially when you see it for the first time before any of those movies are made.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of the slasher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 78.
Yeah.
You said it wasn't scary?
Scary.
It's not scary now. It's probably scary back then.
Back then, man.
Now there's like clowns that eat
Yeah.
really big. with their
Halloween had
big
the guy.
mouths.
Big words.
The car drove past the playground.
He drives a station wagon in that movie.
Really slow. And he looks at you. That's scarier
That's
than
messed
anything.
up that Michael. Just thinking about Michael Myers driving a
And his
station
name
wagon.
is Michael.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not like Skarsgård or something like that. And his name is Mike. He's a real name.
All right,
Yeah.
Audrey, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Kevin, do you appreciate that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us, all right, what do you got going on and where we can find you?
Man, I'm going to San Diego Con. If you're I'm in California,
Yeah.
find me next week. But we're going to have a party here at All Your Comics Beautiful Downtown Skokie on August 5th
What's that one for?
for Yogs, the premiere of Yogs. It's a book I've been working on for like 30 plus years. and it's finally come out in its true form.
I like that.
Yeah, and we're gonna celebrate. I'm gonna have squishy balls.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have stickers.
All right.
And I'm going to have coasters.
Nice.
And more squishy stickers, and the book.
I like that.
Hardcover book. Yeah, it's a trilogy. They told me, publisher Paper Cuts told me, there's a book coming out for the next 3 years every August.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've got a YouTube channel that you like to doodle on.
Yeah, Famous Cartoonist Says Thing is on All Your Comics YouTube channel.
Nice.
I just got a nice bumper from Sven today.
Ooh, I can't wait to see that
Yeah,
one because it was good. I got to see that
Yeah, I'm
film.
gonna put some things in it.
Yeah.
My thumb shows up too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, you two, thank you for sitting with us.
Yeah.
Death by Podcast. Is that a good podcast,
It's
maybe?
the best one in the
Nice.
business.
I like that.
Best
I like
in
that.
business.
It's the best in the business. Kevin, what do you have to say?
No.
Awesome, guys. We're gonna grab somebody else to talk to. Art, Audrey, drive safe.
We're gonna go get
Stay
some
spooky.
chicken. Yeah, we're gonna get some chicken.
Some Harold's.
Yeah, probably something. Yeah.
Man, that
Some
sounds
Harold's.
awesome.
Harold's with some hot sauce.
I'm envious.
And some mild on the side. Dip it.
I'm envious.
Get some crunchy stuff going on.
All right. Yagams.
Yeah, you're
Death by
amazing.
Podcast. That was awesome and a ton of fun. Thank you, too. Special thanks to Art for being a good friend of mine and bringing me into this whole world that he's created. It's pretty radical. Next up, and this is a very strange grouping of dudes. This is 4 men sitting around a rectangle, which includes myself, your co-host and mine, Kevin, and Anthony Laatsch, and Chris O'Connell. Chris O'Connell is a friend of the store, friend of the show, amazing artist in his own right, and a grunge music master. And Anthony Laatsch, also an amazing artist, but this dude travels at least an hour, if not an hour and a half, from Piggly Wiggly up north with orange cookies in hand and a tub of milk every time he comes to see us. Gentlemen, take it away. All right, we're back. What is it? What are we back to? Death by Podcast. I'm your host, Adam. It's your other host,
Kevin.
And we're doing a round table of gentlemen. We're a rectangle of gentlemen. We're talking about horror podcast. No, this is a horror podcast. We're talking about horror movies. But before we do that, Chris, you weren't here, so I'm sitting here. Let me tell you who I'm sitting with. Anthony Laatsch. I'm saying your last name right?
That's one way to say it.
All right.
I'll say Laatsch.
Laatsch.
Yes.
I like that better than what I said.
Like a door latch.
I like that better. And Chris O'Connell.
Chris O'Connell.
Nice. Chris, you weren't here. You missed Svengoolie.
Yes, I did miss.
Are you a Svengoolie fan?
Not as much. Not so much, so.
Are you a horror movie fan?
Yes, that I am.
What kind of horror?
I like Halloween. A lot of those movies.
Like the classic slasher stuff?
Yeah, classic stuff is always good.
What's the movie that you would tell someone or recommend to someone that you think that they haven't seen or might not be like so mainstream as like Halloween or the classic slasher stuff? Like what's something like off the wall that you enjoy, so that we can say like that Chris is a weird dude like that.
Children Under the Stairs. That movie is.
Children or people?
Is that people
The
under the
Dude,
stairs?
we did that.
Yeah,
We did that on season 1.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Wes Craven.
Yeah.
That movie is insane and nothing like what I expected.
Yeah, it was totally nuts. I never thought it was that.
What draws you to it?
Just because it's so insane. Like, you'd never imagine these two people just, like, doing all this, like, terrible things, you know?
Seriously.
And creating all this, like, chaos.
Yeah.
And they're just like, wow, man. This movie is, like, now I understand why it's a horror movie,
Right.
you know? It's just...
We did that for season 1. Must have been Letter P, which we're coming up on for next week. And I had never seen it, but I grew up with hearing about it, seeing it. Had you seen it, Kevin, since when we watched it that first time? I forget.
No, I'd seen, like, I thought I had seen it because it was on HBO a lot. Or it was on something a lot. And I thought I had seen it, and then we watched it. I was like, I don't remember any of this. Like, I must have I either watched a different movie or just, missed all the crazy shit.
Because it was bananas. Like, yeah, like, it's nothing like I remember it being marketed in the commercials and stuff, and it's like nothing like that. Instead, it was like this weird quasi-hillbilly slashery weirdness. Yeah, and the main dude, are you a Twin Peaks fan?
Yeah.
The main guy is, are you a Twin Peaks fan?
I haven't watched it.
Dude, you gotta watch it. Yeah. I forget the guy's name. Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. But the main guy in People Under the Stairs, who was like dressed up in like what was it, like Yeah, there's like
the
leathery weirdness.
The leather man. Yeah.
He plays like a really good dude on Twin Peaks, but
yeah, it's like the opposite.
Yeah, totally. Anthony, you ever see People Under the Stairs?
I have not. First time I heard of it.
Add it to your long list.
Okay.
Put it at the bottom of your long list. There's plenty of better stuff. It's fine. It's pretty good.
Even if it's at the top of the long list, it's still going to be on the bottom of the.
How long is this list?
It's an unwritten list. It's just a list that exists.
Yeah, I think we all have one.
It's basically when somebody puts it in front of me, and then it moves to the top of the list.
Right. Now, you were here for Svengoolie.
Yes, I was.
And what was your experience?
My experience was excellent. I came into this experience being a semi-Svengoolie fan, where I haven't been a diehard watcher. I've been around a lot of people and friends who are just huge fans, not only art, but people in my life. And knowing that the comic book was coming out, and Art and Franco were contributing, and other great Chicago artists, so I knew that, hey, this is going to be a great time to dive into the world of Svengoolie. Over the last week or so, I had been watching some clips and a couple of things online, and I plan to put that into the rotation as I hang out and draw and watch some of these old movies. But the actual experience was excellent, super kind, super fun, and super open to taking pictures and hanging out.
You were able to get back in line for a second time.
Yes.
What was that for? What was the second go?
So I had some friends that were unable to make it. So I picked up, most of them wanted the exclusive cover that Art did for the store here. And so I picked those up, and then my friend Kirby, who has Under the Cowl of MS, is his podcast on iTunes and YouTube and such. He is the one that I know as the big Svengoolie fan. So he was unable to make it, so I knew I was going to try to get that cover for him. And I said, I'm hoping to get back in line. We'll see how it goes, and I just made it in the nick of time. So
awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a great experience. But also, all four of us are artists. Chris, I would think that I would have pegged you as like and I know you're a horror fan, but I would have pegged you as like a massive horror fan, knowing your art.
I'm glad that sentence kept going.
Yeah.
For the sake of the community.
I agree. It's a family show. Or today it is. In fact, Kevin and I usually go out of our way to make it not a family show usually. But no, with your art, is it horror inspired, or is it? Because to me it looks like it is, or is it more like a sci-fi? Or maybe to you, when you do your art, you think it's like children's book material. I don't know.
Most of the stuff I guess, it depends on the children, right? Yeah. Most of my stuff grew up with, believe it or not, album covers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
all right.
The guys who, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Pusshead. He's a really famous artist.
That's awesome.
And he does all the stuff for Metallica.
Awesome.
He was the artist for that, and also the Misfits. He did quite a few covers for them.
He did the Black Album. I like the art on that one.
Isn't the Black Album just black?
It's just a Black Album. Yeah. There's a snake on it.
That was a joke. That was a good joke, Kevin. I like that.
Yeah. They hired somebody to do it.
That's awesome.
And then a lot of skateboard, artists.
Yeah.
From when I was a kid, because I hate to say it, I'm very graphic design oriented.
Yep.
But I love comics, horror films, everything else. So it kind of all splinters, and even aspects of fantasy art.
Yeah.
You can see some of it.
I see that. What is it? I don't know if you know, but what is it about skateboards that brings in and lends itself to the coolest / weirdest and almost always horror related art? I don't know what it's always skateboards that have that stuff on it.
I think a lot of
were you a thrasher when you were a kid?
Somewhat, I guess. I was I'd go out and skateboard mostly in high school.
Yeah.
Junior high on.
Yeah.
And then obviously you have to give it up after a while.
Yeah.
Your knees and everything else just can't take it anymore. So, but
were you a thrasher, Kevin?
No, I hung out with them, but I didn't.
No, I don't know why I had that, but I know that you had that accident. Where all your teeth fell out. I always associate that with some sort of physical activity. Anthony, you were a thrasher.
I myself have played a lot of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 on GameCube.
Oh!
That's as close as I can get into that world.
There you go. He's pushing into that, so it's all right.
That's awesome.
Never bad.
Anthony, you're artist.
Yes.
You are an artist.
I am.
Where do you draw inspiration from? For me, I see your art and I go, like, well, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Isn't it right behind me somewhere?
Yeah. Over your
Tell me
right
about
shoulder. Okay, so one thing I quote-unquote struggle with is kind of wondering, how do people find styles? I look at Scotty Young, and I'm like, you see anything from Scotty Young, you know it's Scotty Young. And Daniel Warren Johnson, Jenny Frison, I'm looking at all these people, and I keep wondering as I draw every piece, just being like, where's my style? What's my style? But, I know that that's probably not how you get to it, is trying to, knowing that you're looking for it, it's just going to happen naturally. So a lot of my stuff, a lot of the inspiration comes from Art Baltazar and Franco, watching them draw and just kind of getting very cartoony with it. Like if someone asked me to do a serious drawing, I think I would much rather want to make it more cartoony and fun. And
sure.
So a lot of cartoons and just whether it's your Jeff Smith Bone and just 90s Nickelodeon cartoons, comic strips, just that's kind of where I jump in.
Kevin, what about Star Trek?
That's awesome.
Your stuff is very cartoonish too in a way. It's not as stylized as I would have thought someone like you would spit out.
Yeah, I mean, the book I put out isn't.
Which book is that, Kevin?
It's called Time Wise.
And where can you get it?
You get it on Amazon
or right behind me, right?
Yeah, and he has comic stores in the city in Chicago if you can pick it up. Or you can't take me directly, I'll send you one. But it's I went with a more cartoony look there just because it was a lot of drawing and I simplified it. But yeah, I used to kind of the style thing I used to think about a lot, but I found because my regular sketchbook stuff, I feel like you can I have my own style, and it was really just drawing like. I'm going to draw like Frank Cho today, and then I'm going to draw like Joe Mad or whoever it is, and then eventually, I like how Joe Mad draws hands, so my hands are going to look like that, but you know what I mean? Like, it just kind of blends together into one thing,
That's interesting, especially, knowing you as well as I do, just seeing a different style than your personality coming out is super interesting. Like you were saying, Anthony, looking for your style, something, and I don't know how this turned into the art podcast, but I had the problem of emulating artists that I liked to the point where now as an adult I don't have my own style. And I'm trying to find it. I'm just now finding it. But horror movie wise, where you fall on that?
All right, I've seen some horror movies. If I were to go to classic ones that I loved growing up that I probably watched way too young, but it was a lot.
We all did that. We all did that.
I go with original Child's Play and original Pet Sematary.
Nice.
Those are top two favorites for mine, to the point where if I watch the original Pet Sematary today, I'll still kind of walk out of the room when they go into the basement, into the the lady scene, the creepy, and it's still, I have that image. I never have to see that again, but I know exactly because it lives in my brain. So even as an adult, I still just I'm gonna go refill some milk, get some milk and crackers.
Milk. It's always milk with you. I love it.
So,
I love it.
So that's when it comes to the classics, and then if I'm talking modern, I have two answers. I have a serious one and a fun one. The fun one.
Wait, Chris, you got a guess?
One?
Yes.
Uh-oh. I'm trying to think. Killer Clowns, right?
The fun one, it was actually...
Which is a phenomenal movie. Phenomenal.
Excellent.
Can you believe I'm saying that? Phenomenal movie.
It was just recently mentioned on Oh Yeah Comics Live from beautiful downtown Skokie, as you asked everybody else about the Greasy Strangler.
Oh,
really?
And I saw that in theater.
Yeah, really?
Short run.
I would have loved to see that.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh my God, Chris, you gotta watch it. It's insane.
It's great.
Yeah, and if you watch it and you don't like it,
Joe loves that movie.
If somebody says they watched it and they don't like it, I'm just gonna call them out and call them a bullshit artist. Bullshit artist. So,
it's the thing they say in the movie.
So that's my fun answer because that movie's ridiculous. But if I were true, just being like a favorite modern horror movie is Slither from 2006 from James Gunn.
Sure. I was thinking we might do that
for us. Or like his What You Watch?
Nope. Yeah.
Nope.
No. That's an N. That's N.
Okay.
That's.
I got your S.
Dang.
Yes.
Oh, I know what you're talking. Dang, I know what he was talking about. That's crazy. Yeah, early James Gunn stuff is like, especially that movie. I saw behind the scenes of it. The woman, I forget the actress, but
Elizabeth Banks.
In the big.
Okay.
She blows up.
Okay.
Is she the one in that?
No, not Elizabeth.
Okay, a different actress that whoever it was that blows up in the barn.
Yeah.
I saw the behind the scenes, and it's literally she's in this thing, and it's just like this giant bubble,
it's all physical
and it's just her
stuff.
face that's like showing.
Yeah, I got to. What's awesome about that movie is that I got to see it. I got to see it at a Fangoria Con in 2006 because Nathan Fillion was going to be there. And being a Firefly Serenity fan.
You mean the new Guy Gardner?
That is true. And
is he going to be Guy Gardner?
Yeah.
Yes. Not bad.
I guess.
And so I went to that con just for him, and then they're like, "Oh, he's in this new movie Slither." There's James Gunn. I'm like, I don't know who he is, but at the time he was married to Jenna Fisher from The Office.
Sure.
I'm like, I know her. You know, Michael Rooker's in there, and I knew him from Mallrats and everything else. And I just went down the line being, I love all these people. And after the panel at the convention, they surprised us and said, hey, this movie's not coming out for 3 months yet, but we have a bus waiting outside. We're going to go down the road, and you get to all see it free.
That's cool.
So a couple rows ahead of me was James Gunn and Jenna Fisher and Elizabeth Banks, and all of them watched it. And I've watched Slither, and I'm like, it's my favorite modern day.
It's probably a little bit of nostalgia in there too from the experience. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Slither.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's got some great practical horror and some excellent comedy, and it's a perfect blend. And I think a lot of people would like it.
I've always thought that move, by the way, at cons, because I've seen other panels will do that. Be like, all right, we're all gonna get on a bus and we're gonna go do this thing. And I always thought it was really presumptuous because like that's cool because it's like you went in like not knowing really the whole thing. What if you were like, I don't want to go there. I want to go to the convention. Like I don't have 2 hours to.
Me and my buddy, me and my buddy Brent, and then I was with my friend Jenna, and she wasn't into that. And so she stayed in the hotel, and we're like, well, we're just hopping on a stranger's bus here.
Yeah.
And we're just going to go see a movie, and maybe we'll be back. Here's the keys to my car. Drive it home if I don't make it.
Wouldn't it be great if they did that one time, like at like a Star Trek convention? Like, we got the new Star Trek show, and everybody was like, yeah, no thanks. We're going to go back to the convention.
Chris, you a Star Trek fan?
For a long time I was, and I actually saw the new series.
Yeah.
It's actually really good.
The one...
The Brave New
World? Is that the one you hate? Strange New World? Is that the one you hate?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
That's the one that I saw, Anson Mount.
That's the one, yeah, you might have seen that one.
That was a good episode, man. How am I up on Star Trek and you're not?
We don't need to talk about Star Trek.
he took a nosedive. He just took a break. Put it on pause.
Your homework is to watch Slither. What was the other one we were saying?
Greasy Strangler.
Greasy Strangler.
Yeah.
Dude, Greasy Strangler is... you shouldn't even try to describe it.
Is it a
You should just watch.
Yeah.
It's... I don't know. It's a bizarro movie. It's just so strange. But the guy who plays the Greasy...
it is a horror movie. I mean...
The guy who plays the Greasy Strangler, I don't know his name, but he was interviewed on In Search of Darkness 3, the Shudder documentary, which is phenomenal. It's like 5 hours long, and there's 3 of them. And I was sitting there, I'm like, that's the Greasy Strangler. And then he's like, I'm the Greasy Strangler. I'm like, it's bananas. So you got to watch that. Awesome. But be prepared. You can't prepare.
Like, you get the idea that it's like you're watching Napoleon Dynamite for the first time, where it's that kind of weirdness.
Yeah.
Like Napoleon Dynamite meets The Room, but a horror movie.
Yeah. The Room is one of Kevin's favorites, so he loves talking about that. However,
it's just the experience, not even like the themes. It's just like, this is something weird and special. I like it, and I don't know how to tell. It's one of those that I can't recommend to people because I just have no idea how.
You can't recommend it.
You can't.
You have to really know.
But you got to watch it.
We can't recommend it, but you got to.
Chris.
But to get back on Star Trek, yes, I would definitely recommend the new series.
Yeah.
It is really good. I saw it for free. So, and I just watched it, and I was like, wow, there's a few episodes that were bad, but the rest of it was actually brought some life back into, I think, the series, which I don't think was there before.
Kevin.
It hasn't been good. It hasn't been good since.
Yeah.
I don't know. 2000.
He loves saying that. Like,
it hasn't been good
since.
I mean.
Let me correct you. You enjoyed Picard season 3.
I like season 3. But I've just been burned too many times.
Yeah, he gets burned on everything.
sucker.
Everyone
I'm-
burns
I'm-
him.
Yeah, I'm like Lucy in the fucking football with Star Trek, where it's like, no, I swear this one's gonna be good, and then I'm like, God, I'm done.
This
I'm
one,
done
this
chasing
what I would
football.
say is a good thing.
Good
They have like a lot of really good actors and actresses. The guy who plays Pike is Captain Pike is really
That's
Anson
is
Mount.
really
Black
an
Bolt
awesome
Yes,
actor.
Inhumans.
Yeah. And the guy who plays Spock does a really good job too.
It's a
as
different
well.
Spock though.
Yeah.
Who's the
Yeah,
Spock?
I don't know. That's a whole thing with me too. I don't want to get into it, but
Yeah,
like
it's
there's only one Spock for me.
Only one Spock.
Anytime they recast Spock,
No, I agree.
Fuck off.
I agree. All right, gentlemen. I appreciate you sitting here.
Handsome
Chris,
Spocks.
where can we find you in your art?
You can find me at the Art of Chris O'Connell 2 on Instagram.
I like that. I follow you. You send me a lot of good grunge posts.
Try to.
Yeah, who is Chris O'Connell 1? Who is
I
it?
don't know.
Did you just go for
Is
2
he
right off the
still
bat?
I'm gonna buy that domain
Believe
right
it,
now.
believe it or not, there was a Chris O'Connell 1 was like already taken. He was on, like when you do like Mac account, an Apple account.
Yeah.
And he was in New Zealand, so I was like,
Oh, man.
Like, we kept on getting each other's emails.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
Anthony, where can we find you in your art?
You can find my art on Facebook, but mostly Instagram at Anthony Laatsch. That's LAATSCH, as well as a drawing show that I host and co-created called Cartoonist by Night.
I like that.
That's on YouTube with the creators of Happy Astronaut and Kid Slapshot that are comics that are out there.
That's excellent stuff. Kevin, you wanted to say something.
Oh no, yeah.
Okay, folks, we're going to move on to a special guest that I see over yonder. But thanks for sitting here, guys. I
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
us.
Awesome. Man, those guys, that was awesome. The only thing that was missing was Jeff Bridges from Tron, man. Let's see. Last on the list, but not the least by any means, the golden child himself, the man with the plan, artist, writer, musician, my brother and yours, and the manager of All Yeah Comics in beautiful downtown Skokie, Joe Crohn. All right, folks, we're here with the big enchilada, the big tuna, the silver tuna, what else do you call yourself, Joe?
Bad Mama Jamma.
The guy that runs All Yeah Comics, my brother, Joe Crohn. You guys have heard me talk about him on the show way too much. Kevin, what do you have to say about Joe?
He's okay.
So Joe, today we had you tell us what we did today in beautiful downtown Skokie at All Yeah Comics. What did we do?
We had Svengoolie time today here at the store. It was wonderful. It was weird. It was very weird. I was telling Kevin, when you only see people on TV and then you see them in real life, it's very strange. It's almost like they're a hologram or something like that. They're not real somehow, but he was more real than real.
Yeah.
It was the real Svengoolie.
More human than human!
Dude, that song, Adam puts on 80s music whenever he works here on Tuesdays. It's all 80s stuff. Tears for Fears, Breakfast Club, whatever. And then suddenly it turns into Rob Zombie music.
It just comes on, man.
And he never acknowledges it, but there's like kids hanging around like, Adam, man, can you please do something about this?
That sounds awesome.
It is awesome. No, it is awesome, but like you're in a mode, you're in like a, you're vibing, you know what I mean?
Fuck them.
And then like, it's like, it's like,
Yeah. So, Svengoolie.
yeah, man, he was cool.
As far as I know, you and I, we've talked on the side about this day for weeks now, and as far as expectations, experiences, where does this rank? What happened? How are you? How is Elvis, and have you seen him lately?
Well, the day definitely wasn't rank, if that's what you're asking me. No, it exceeded expectations. It was awesome. It almost whittled itself down to a fine-tooth comb, in a way, as they say. A perfect toothbrush. Anthony, what are you eating, man?
I don't know. I just bought it for
All right,
allowed.
all right, don't worry about it. No, you can. Yeah, it's allowed. No, the day was great. It's the time was running down, and and the line was getting shorter, and then the time was running down, the line was even shorter. It just seemed like everybody had been briefed about what was going on today, and everybody abided. All the dudes abided.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I like
But
that.
I saw Svengoolie roll up in his car though with Jim. That was cool.
right off the
In the
bat.
parking lot.
Yeah, what was that like?
I saw him get out of his car too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. He didn't have any makeup on when I saw him. He just like slapped it on like super quick.
Really?
No.
Because I saw him
he
like
was- he was
get in
driving
his car
around.
and drive away.
Yeah,
I
he was,
saw the end of
he
it.
was driving around
Yeah.
in the makeup and he got out of the car. That was cool.
Can you imagine pulling up at a stop sign next to him like that?
That'd be awesome.
Being like drive. Anyway, yeah, that's crazy.
No, the day was great. Everyone was awesome. I think everybody had a moment, more than a moment with Svengoolie.
Yeah.
Sold a bunch of comics. Had some people in here that we had never seen before. I think we left a good impression. The staff today was on point. Dan DiDio grew out of the ground, appeared out of nowhere, which was awesome. He flew down from wherever he lives, and I think he's back on the plane flying back. He just came down for this one signing, so that was really cool. Art was in a great mood. He was, doing his thing on the floor.
You say that like he's not usually in a great mood.
Well, we're all, in different degrees, within our own, range of, mood possibilities.
Yeah.
But Art was on. Everybody was on. He was having a good time. It's just laughter. Lots of laughter.
It was. I noticed that.
Yeah.
I laugh a lot, usually at Kevin and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I was laughing in a different way today. It was almost like a childish.
Yeah.
Because my history
We're
was
talking about you now.
my history with Svengoolie.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. I always talk about it on the podcast. Yours, however.
Mine. Yeah. I'm a big poser when it comes to Svengoolie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You made that clear.
Yeah.
Since the beginning.
Since the beginning.
How bigger of a fan.
Yeah.
How truer of a
Yeah.
fan that you are of
Yeah.
Svengoolie than I am.
Yeah.
But even though I was the one who told you about Svengoolie. Dang!
What? Dude, I turned that TV on. It was already on, and Svengoolie came on. He's like, "Hey, Adam. Hey, Adam, watch me," or however he does that. That's the accent he used to do.
But yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
He was great. He was in a good mood. He was like in an awesome. I'm talking about everybody's moods, but he was just like he was jolly. He had a good time. Made all the faces. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was awesome. And it's cool. They in the second issue of the book that we had a store exclusive for comes out and I can't say it. I can't say when it comes out.
Oh, you know when it comes out? You have to tell me off. You have to tell me off,
I
Mike.
can't say. But you know what I mean? It would make sense if they came back, and it'd be great if they came back. I think it'd be
That would be
awesome.
cool, like a follow up. We got to make sure that happens.
Why not?
Something that I don't know, Kevin. You know somebody that works at MeTV. You don't have to say who it is, but your experience with Svengoolie is something that I guess I'm not too familiar with.
I don't know it either. Tell us.
I used to watch him a lot when I was a kid. I went and met him somewhere. I don't know. My dad took me, and
Was it a garage?
No, it was just a place. I don't remember where we went. It wasn't my personal garage, but no, they, and I watch them from time to time. If now I record them every week, and if the movie is, something I want to watch, I'll throw it on. Like,
Did you catch Ghoulies last week?
I didn't, but I recorded it. I'm gonna watch it. The last one I watched was Ghost of Mr. Chicken, which was like a month ago.
Yeah,
you know?
He actually, I think he shows that more than any movie he shows.
I watch it about I'd say once a month, once every 2 months.
Ghost of Mr. Chicken?
Yeah,
No,
with
Svengoolie.
what's the guy Barney Fife? What's his name?
Don Knotts.
Don Knotts. You never seen Ghost of Mr. Chicken?
I've never seen it.
Excellent movie.
Yeah, it really is.
Excellent. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Everything Don Knotts did outside of whatever that whistle show is is good.
I'm surprised he's doing Ghoulies too.
He's doing Ghoulies 2 tomorrow night.
Yeah, I heard that.
Tomorrow night.
Huh, all right, that's fine.
Can't wait.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen them all except for like 4. I think there's 4 of them. I haven't seen the last one.
Is anybody returning?
4 is Ghoulies Go to College, right? Or is that?
I think that's 3. 4 is the wizard with the green eyes and the weird contacts comes back. Remember?
Oh, cool, yeah.
They showed him.
Okay.
All right, so Joe, your history with horror is similar to mine, maybe on this same track. I know, like at the comic shop, you make it a point to like stock a lot of horror comics because obviously they're really good. There's a lot of really good ones. But thinking back to like maybe the St. Charles days or something like that, where did it start for you? What was the thing that was like, yes, that?
I don't know if it's a real memory or not, but I think I remember walking into Mom and Dad's room while they were gone. Their TV was on, and Nightmare on Elm Street was playing on the TV. I sat there and watched.
Who turned it on?
At the end of the bed. I have no idea. Nobody.
It was just on.
It was just on, and I watched the whole thing.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
That was probably, it had to have been St. Charles.
Yeah, it was St. Charles.
Okay.
Yeah. Freddie, and so since then, Freddie's been my guy. He's my dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Robert Englund is someone that the three of us encountered
Yeah.
3 years ago at HorrorCon.
Yeah.
I think we each had a different experience. It's crazy thinking, and you and I were talking about his legacy and how he's pretty much the only actor who has a legacy like that of a horror slasher. But Kevin and I have a newer experience. It's awesome that how the Freddy Krueger is your first experience into horror, like opening the door. Svengoolie is mine, and then it goes all the way to even up until just last week when Kevin and I watched. What did we watch?
Married with
Children, where Freddy Krueger was the devil.
Well, Robert Englund played the devil. Yeah. But
You got to watch that. You like that show? I don't know. Did you used to watch that?
I mean, yeah.
I don't think I ever watched it.
It's late. It was like, because Adam was like, "This is actually not bad." I'm like, "This is like season 11. This is not good."
Right. I
This
was
is not-
wondering if they went into like weird like.
It's like the third to last episode.
Oh,
And the
really?
whole episode is basically a truth. Like, he hits his head, and then he wakes up, and the devil knocks on his door.
Yeah.
You know.
Man, he's definitely one of those actors who I wish he like was just in more stuff. He was in that. Did you see that episode of Stranger Things that he was in?
Yeah.
And he was like awesome in that, and
Yeah.
like you couldn't see his eyes. You know what I mean? Usually that's like an actor's like greatest tool. You know, it's like their eyes, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and his eyes were sewn shut or something like that, right? And it was awesome, man. It was just like that one scene.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I want to see that dude. It's like George Clooney. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's weird that he doesn't have like his. It's weird that he doesn't have his like, because he doesn't look like Freddy. I mean, he does. Like, you can tell if you know. But like when he was in Scream, I didn't know that was Freddy.
Who was he in Scream?
I think he plays a janitor.
Oh yeah.
No.
No, that's Wes Craven.
No. Yeah.
Wes Craven.
I don't know
plays
if
a
that's Wes Craven, but there's a janitor that's dressed like Freddy.
Yeah.
It's Wes Craven. dressed
Wait,
like
he's not in Scream. He's in. Shit. Wait, he's like a professor in some movie.
Oh, it's the one that we watched. Isn't it the one we watched? This is our famous segment, Figure It Out.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to figure it out with you.
There is one where he plays a professor, but it wasn't Urban Legend. We watched Urban Legend for season 2. It was another movie. I forget what it was. Or maybe it was. I don't know. Anyway.
I don't think anybody ever like really wrote anything for him. You know what I mean? Like outside of what he was already known for or good at. I really feel like if someone's like, man, he can knock I bet he can knock some stuff out. You know?
What would it be though? Like, because you remember him in V, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
He was like the main character.
I remember watching V,
One of.
but like I haven't watched it since.
Yeah.
I kind of want to leave that where it is. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. It's just like you don't think of these people like outside of what they're known for. I don't know. I think he could do some stuff.
I got a feeling like he's hard to work with just from seeing him interviewed.
Oh yeah, we talk about like women and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The way he talks about. Yeah.
It's weird.
You say bitch all the time.
Yeah.
Bitch. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
That's something he brought over from. That wasn't in the script. Like, I insist.
Did he? Did he say that?
No, of course not. I mean,
That wouldn't surprise me.
insane.
It would surprise me. All right.
I'm only doing the next one if I can call
Yeah, seriously.
Doing that what? The third one? That was the third. He didn't call anybody a bitch in the second one.
Did he not?
I think his first one's in the first one.
Really?
Does he call someone a bitch in the first one? I don't think he calls anyone a bitch in the first one.
I think he calls the main guy a bitch, doesn't he?
In the first
Or in the second one. In the second one.
I think he says it at least once in 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And 3 is when he says it a lot.
Yeah.
And then like 4, then they go nuts.
It becomes this thing. I never thought about watching it for that reason, to see like where he uses it and how many times he says it.
I know you're not a Rick and Morty guy, but if there's one episode I could. There's a Freddy Krueger episode.
All right, we'll watch it for we should. Patreon.
Basically he's like a what do you call it so you don't get sued? Like a legal version of they have to deal with a legal version of Freddy. It's a guy named Scary Terry.
Oh.
And he's just like Freddy, and like he just says like it's hilarious how much this guy
just says bitch. That's awesome. All right, so we're sitting in a comic book store. Give the folks a rundown on your favorite horror comics that you think they should come in and get.
Swamp Thing, The Goon, Dark Ride. There's a new Creepshow comic book that came out recently, a nice anthology. We've got James Tynion just came out with a new book called World Tree, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What else?
I'm wondering where that one's going to go, though, if it's going to lean more horror or lean more sci-fi.
I think it's just conceptually it's pretty terrifying. You know, it's one of those kinds of things. So I guess, you can call it horror, or not. What else?
What's a deep cut?
A deep cut?
Like a something that's like.
Maniac from New York?
That's a decent one. Maniac is good.
Really
What'd you say?
Children of the Black Sun.
Children of Black Sun's really good. That's about to come out in trade. I think we're going to try to get some of those.
Yeah.
No, it's a great time for horror comics, or horror in comics. A lot of stuff. What's it called? It's What Lies Beneath. It's not that. It's that one where the folks live in the neighborhood where monsters lie. Kyle Starks.
Oh, I read that.
Is that good?
Yeah,
that was
it's cool.
good.
It's something you wish they would have drawn out a little bit more. You want to see more of it. It's one of those where they give you this world, but it's almost the end of this world. You kind of want to see where it started. So hopefully he'll be back on that pretty soon. I don't know how successful it was.
That was a mini that was done? It's done
4
now?
issues.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's kind of his style.
Yeah, but I'd like to see more of that. But yeah, man, just come on down here. We'll find something for you.
Awesome.
It's a good time.
What's the one you can't live without?
The one what?
Horror comic.
One horror comic
Yeah.
I can't live without?
Yeah.
Goon, man, come on.
I just never think of Goon as horror, but I guess, it's got horror elements.
He's got a giant spider as like a character.
Yeah, it's not really a horror. I guess.
I always laugh more than.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's got horror elements. It's not a scary book, but it's
I don't think I'd feel good about as much stuff as I've read if I hadn't read Swamp Thing, I guess. So Swamp Thing's the one where I'm always going back to that, and I'm always looking forward to the next time I read that, because that's the one you want to sit down and read all 8 volumes, 9 volumes, or whatever, No, his name we do not mention his name.
What's his name?
Julian just brought over a comic book by one.
That's too spooky, Julian. That's too spooky.
But yeah, Swamp Thing's the one for me.
Grimm. I forgot about that. Yeah. Grimm's a good one. Yeah, Swamp Thing. We just sold one of those to those folks. Okay. All right, man. As far as the day went, final thoughts.
Should
we thank Svengoolie? Maybe he'll listen. I don't know.
Thank you, Svengoolie, for showing up, doing your thing, getting together with Art and Franco, and making a damn fine comic book.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Dan DiDio and Frank Miller Presents.
Talk about Freddy Krueger. Wow.
I think they might be a publisher to keep your eye on. They got Sin City coming out. It's like an Old West version of Sin City. I believe Frank Miller's illustrating it as well. Right. But yeah, man, it was awesome. Today was just great. You say every day is great at the comic shop, but today was significant. It was awesome. It was probably the coolest signing in Chicago this summer. I gotta say. You know what I mean? It's rare. I know Svengoolie's been attached or associated with comic books before, but he's never had his own comic. Elvira's got her comics. Vincent Price has his comics. There's never really been a Svengoolie comic before, and it was pretty awesome that we got him.
Awesome, it was. I was very nervous about it, even though I was hiding it.
Yeah.
And
sure.
Turned out just didn't know what to expect. It was a blast.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where they say don't meet your heroes or whatever they say.
Mm-hmm.
I met him and he was cool.
Yeah, y'all hit it off, man. Y'all are getting together, snug as a bug in a rug.
Yeah.
But I also want to thank everybody who volunteered, helped out today. Everyone was on point.
Awesome.
And everybody was just contributing to making the vibe of the store something that people will remember in a good way.
Right on. Yeah. All right. So in closing, Joe, you've been on the show before. We want to have you on the show again.
Yeah.
But you say you will not come on the show unless we watch
we're doing
a specific movie.
Yeah, we're doing Suspiria. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, Yagums!
We're doing Suspiria. I'm going to go over to your house and watch it with you, Kevin. All right, good
night.
night.
There you go.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Joe.
Right.
Kevin, you got any closing remarks on this day?
No.
It was a crazy day. Folks, we appreciate you listening and being part of this big fiasco that the day was. It was a grand day. It was a good Svengoolie day. Kevin, are you satisfied?
Yeah, good day. Good day.
Nice. I know Kevin ran around trying to troubleshoot the technical issues that we were having, so I appreciate that.
Yay!
Yagums, Kevin.
Yes.
Yep.
Kevin, you have anything to say?
Shut the fuck up.
All right, folks. We'll be back. Thanks for listening. And there endeth episode 80 of Death by Podcast. Folks, thank you for listening. Big thank you to my brother Joe for just putting the whole day together. Svengoolie was amazing. They say don't meet your heroes, but this is one that worked out. He was amazing, all class. Thank you to everybody who sat down with me and Kevin at All Yeah Comics in beautiful downtown Skokie. Art Baltazar, Audrey, Charlie Gushi, who else? Brian Lynch, Anthony Laatsch, Chris O'Connell, and my brother Joe again. Folks, Look for the letter P next week, where Kevin and I are talking about Pacific Heights with a What'd You Watch of Pontypool. Go check it out before the show airs so you can follow along. I think that's about it. It's about that time, right? What time? It's Miller time! Kevin, what do you have to say? All right, folks, thanks for listening. Stay groovy, stay Svengoolie, and a giant helping of Yagams and Harold's Chicken, extra crispy.